Hi guys, John here. Welcome back to the Grizzly Grunt. It's been a few weeks. Been busy getting ready to move, getting the house in order, stuff like that. But I get asked every so often by people that are new to firearms what they should have for any situation in their arms collection. So we're going to talk about the 5 types of firearms. Notice I said types of firearms for every household, every collection. Okay, and the reason I say types is because I'm not going to tell you this gun is the best or that gun is the best because it's like a car guy saying that Chevys are better than Fords or Dodges or whatever the case is. It's one of those Vietnam type questions and answers where you're never going to get out. You're going to just fight it forever. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get into it. The first one type of fire we're going to talk about is a handgun.
There was a firefight!
Or a pistol. Okay, so semi-automatics. We'll start with semi-automatic. So something a semi-automatic should be chambered in the big three that you're going to see mostly. Um, Caliber wise, 9 millimeter, 40 caliber, 45. Those are all pretty prevalent, excuse me, in any store you go to here in America. So they're easy to find here in the U.S. Any box store shelf, any local gun store. The pros to these, of course, they hold box. Um, they hold ammo in a box magazine, anywhere from 15 to whatever size magazines you can get for your particular caliber or particular pistol too. Faster reloads, more common ammo, like we already talked about, easier to conceal. If you're going to get a just one, I would get something in a concealed. Micro carry may be too small. You're not going to be able to carry as much rounds, but something compact. Um, this is a CZ75 compact. They make a lot of other ones. Taurus makes a lot of good firearms too. Something like that. The reason I say concealed versus full size, you're really not going to get that much more velocity or accuracy out of a longer pistol, but these are easy to conceal if you need to for whatever reason, or if you live in one of those good states where it's a constitutional carry state, which South Carolina just became 29th state. Woohoo! Go South Carolina. Um, I would still recommend you get a concealed carry permit. So if you go out of state, you're covered under a reciprocity by other states. Of course, looking at those maps that you can find online to see what states are relevant for. Um, Cons. These are more complicated for newer shooters. Semi-automatic pistols more complicated for newer shooters. They have more malfunctions, and those could be to user error. Well, you're going to hear lip wristing, crappy ammo, conditions. Dirt, mud. You don't clean your firearm very well. Just those things. So these things are more susceptible because there's obviously more moving parts. But all in all, these are good choices for a pistol. All right, moving on. Revolvers.
But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world.
Revolvers are good choices too. You can get them from smaller calibers like 32, heck, even 22, all the way up to pretty much hand cannons that should have wheels and a string. But larger calibers, some even like a 454 Casull can handle multiple types of calibers in that frame, just like a 357. These have all been cleared, by the way.
Call a doctor, and then help me find my doze.
357 can shoot 38, just like 454 can shoot 45 long Colt, things like that. So that is a good thing. You can shoot 2 rounds out of one pistol. And some of these, I forget which pistol it is. Some of these revolvers you can even get in rimless rounds, like 9 millimeter and 45 ACP. Some require those moon clips, special inserts. Now, revolvers are great. They're more reliable. Every time you pull that trigger, it's going to go click and bang, okay, until it's empty. So, I don't think I've ever had a malfunction on a revolver except for once, and it was user error on my end. I didn't allow the trigger to reset before I pulled again, but, that's going to happen. So the cons, they're only limited to however many you can put in the cylinder. So 6, 7, 8, whatever your pistol holds. Some 5 for the smaller pistols that are more concealable. They're slow to reload. There are ways to reload them faster, like speed loaders, or you can even get the flat rubber rubber strips to load them that way. Not as easy to conceal. Some are. They do make spurless hammers spurless revolvers or hammerless revolvers. But overall, they're not as user friendly, but they are easier for newer shooters to learn on one of these. As long as you're not getting a brand new shooter or hand cannon to shoot, because that will definitely not be a good experience for them. Okay, so it's pretty much what I'm going to say for pistols, and you can choose whatever brand you want. Like I said earlier, I'm not a Glock guy. Some people are. I know the Glock guys are going to start shaking the trees and cursing at me because I don't join the Glock fan club. But it's a Ford or Chevy argument. Everybody likes their take. Everybody likes their types of firearms. So that's for you guys. But I would just say whatever you do, get training. All right, don't just buy it and say I'm armed now and know how to use this stuff. But go get some training. Even if it's just going to the range a few times. Find somebody that has that knowledge that you can tag along with when they go to the range, or even get some pistol classes in local areas. Okay. Hey guys, do you like podcasts about firearms and firearms training? Check out a friend of mine's page, The Tactical Pirate. He has over 30 years of military and law enforcement background, and he has some very good podcasts. He's on YouTube and a lot of the other big platforms, so check him out. So moving on to the second firearm in this series, we're going to talk about type of firearm. It's going to be, I'm going to move these pistols out of the way. Is shotguns. We're going to talk about shotguns. Okay, so shotguns, there are a lot of rabbit holes at this one. Smooth barrel versus a rifle barrel. The calibers, of course. So a smooth barrel can pretty much shoot anything as long as it's sized correctly for it. All right, this is my Mossberg 590. It's a pump action. As you can see, they're all clear. I like pump actions. We're going to talk about that more. So when you get into shotguns, 12 gauge or 20 gauge are going to be your better options. 20 gauge is going to be better for smaller shooters. However, 20 gauge isn't as prevalent, in my opinion, as 12 gauge is. And 12 gauge, you can find anywhere. My buddy of mine, Scott, he brought up 410s. 410s are great for new shotgun shooters and for smaller game and for smaller people, your kids, your wives, whatever the case may be. However, 410 is definitely harder to find than 12 gauge or 20 gauge. So if it were me, I would stick to a 12 or a 20 gauge. I'm more of a 12 gauge guy because you can pretty much go in any house in America or anywhere and you can find 12 gauge if you need to. If it gets to the point where you have to scrounge for it. And with pump actions, the pros, they're more reliable in my opinion. However, um, that's relevant to the user. If you half cock it or short stroke it, another term, then you're gonna have a malfunction. But that's a user error, not necessarily the weapon's failure. These can handle anything you can stick into them. Some of the semi-automatic shotguns, semi-automatic shotguns, they are finicky with certain rounds, or if the round is underpowered for whatever reason, it feels like a hand load, then you may not get a proper function out of it. Whereas a pump action shotgun, it's all on you to load and unload. So you can even get lower recoil rounds for these that won't work in the semi-auto shotguns. The cons for these, of course, they're a little bit slower to reload. Some of them you get with magazines. I don't really have experience, but I've heard mixed results with those. If you would like me to try and get hold of one that has magazines, I can do that. But just let me know in the comments section. Now, semi-autos, like I said before, faster rate of fire for the pros, faster rate of fire, less susceptible to user error, as in you're not going to short stroke or whatnot like that. Cons, a limited or smaller rate of shells, and malfunctions more likely. So with shotguns, like anything else, or what we talk about specifically, smooth barrel versus rifle barrel. Rifle barrel, you can shoot bird shot out of it, although it's not better for the rifling of the barrel. With a smooth barrel, you can shoot pretty much anything out of it. Although if it's a certain type of slugs, it may not go as far because they're not made for that type of barrel. Another type of shotgun are break action shotguns, or double barrel like coach guns, or even a single barrel, or the over under type shotguns. They're very reliable. They'll shoot any shell you put in them. just like a pump action, because it's on the user to load and unload that. Most of them have an ejector. As soon as you break them open, they'll kick it out. And if it doesn't, you can just do it by hand. Some of the brake actions, actually most of the brake actions, the good things about them is they can take barrel inserts. What these are barrels that slip inside the breech, and they're meant for pistol or even rifle caliber rounds. So that is a nice thing about those. However, you're only going to get 2 shots before you have to reload that. Uh, so, but Chiappa, Chazelle, Chazzel, is two of the companies that are really good about having those barrel inserts. Um, but like I said earlier, they're slow to reload, and that's about it for shotguns. So let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like watching the show, you'd like to see me do more stuff like this, which I'm going to have a follow up one about the other 3 types of firearms. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with your buddies. And if you'd like to do something else more in depth on a certain specific firearm, let me know. We'll see what we can do. Have a good night.